Welcome to Fast Effect Double Speed Magic the Gathering. Here we have Caleb on Mono Black Aggro versus Matt on Eureka. With the play on his side, we've got a Dark Ritual into Hymn to Torok, which is precisely what you don't want to see from Matt. Side of the table, he's already on a mull to 6, and he is losing 2 cards. And a Thoughtseize as well. So he's got the Thoughtseize and the Hymn to Torok. Now that is the more popular sequencing for formats where you're not running Misdirection. If Misdirection is a possibility, you really need to lead out with that Thoughtseize, as getting your Hymn to Torok misdirected is a total disaster. But given that that is not currently part of the metagame in any substantial proportion, most people would argue that you want to Hymn to Torok and then Thoughtseize, giving you the highest probability of getting the highest quality cards out of your opponent's hand. Matt's still fighting. He's got a Brainstorm and a Eureka. So at this point, he just needs 2 more mana and something worth putting in off of Eureka. A Gristlebrand, probably your best option. I'd probably rank it Gristlebrand, then Omniscience, then Emrakul. Emrakul, very easy for Mono Black to potentially answer. Though it is fine for just a YOLO play. I mean, you'd take it. You'd definitely Eureka it in if your opponent doesn't have an answer visible in hand. It looks like a Thoughtseize and a Dark Ritual and a... I can't see. Is that a Hymn to Torok? No, that's the Graveyard. I'll be alright. That is what's been played. And now Misty Rainforest. Ooh, and that's actually pretty devastating. Matt opting to keep cards accessible to him on top of the library instead of shuffling away. So he is going to ponder. Eureka, a combo deck that cannot win with just a single card. Opposition Agent gets dazed, and that basically just saved Matt's chances. So cracking a fetch land, Caleb flashes an Opposition Agent, and Matt now running Daze in this list, able to prevent the 3-drop from resolving. And I do think Daze's stock has gone up significantly with the advent of both Opposition Agent and Hull Breacher. Trying to slot in those 3-mana instants is not the most elegant line of gameplay. I mean, you are tapping out completely and moving all in on these instant speed bombs, which are devastating, but it does make Daze significantly stronger in my estimation than it has been. Matt dropping a Lotus Petal, which I find slightly surprising. A Wasteland, knocking back his mana again. A Soul Land still very strong off the top, and at that point I'm not sure you actually want to have 5 mana on board with the Lotus Petal. But without seeing his hand, that's tough to say. Generally, you're going to play out a card like that to prevent discard. Now he's got Eureka mana online finally. And Opposition Agent is flashed in end step. A 3-turn clock already presented here from Caleb. Matt has a Eureka. And Rotting Regisaur says now or never, man. Now or never. If you have it, let's go. End step, playing a Veil of Summer just to draw a card. And ponder. And this is pretty unlikely to get there. He's going to need mana already in hand. So if he doesn't have mana, It is very unlikely. If he has a show and tell, doesn't really change the situation because he already had the Eureka and the mana available for it. So he is likely just dead here, and that is the case. Wow, that land destruction, fast clock, I mean, everything lined up for Caleb in that game. Matt likely right on the edge. I mean, just like a card away in all likelihood. I mean, he has the Eureka and the mana, but no ability to just close it out, resolving that powerful 4-mana sorcery that's been with us for a really long time. And I think, realistically, it's been played here and there. I mean, there's been Hypergenesis decks and all sorts of kind of silly versions of Eureka decks over the years, but I really do feel this Omnitel variant is probably the only good version of Eureka that we've seen. I do think it's one of the best decks in the format. I honestly think people sleep on it. I don't think you need multiple Eurekas necessarily. I think 1 to 2 is likely the best we can do in this current metagame. But it does give you, with access to another show and tell effect, just gives you that much more kind of versatility, resilience, the ability to play around things like Meddling Mage potentially, and really leans into the Omniscience much better than the Sneak and Show build. So you can run Omniscience in Sneak and Show builds, but it just doesn't have any synergy with your sneak attacks. Whereas Eureka works with all of your combo pieces. We have a Dark Ritual into a Dark Confidant, and Matt going to just use this as a time to fire off a Veil of Summer. And that is, that pretty much could only mean one thing. We've got a Gristlebrand. Oh, and passing the turn. Going to look to ride out the 7/7 lifelink, treating this as a aggro deck. Wasteland taking out Tropical Island, Liliana's Triumph, and Matt's going to go ahead and defend Gristlebrand, drawing a ton of cards. And I think the game plan here will be to ride out the Gristlebrand if necessary, but if you draw into the combo, let's just go. So draw some more cards. And he's got another show and tell, this time likely for Omniscience. And a Chains of Mephistopheles. It's going to make things a little awkward. That shuts down Gristlebrand. Matt likely would be happier if he had spent that extra 7 life prior to Chains coming down. Difficult card to predict because you'd imagine that Chains would have been sequenced prior to Dark Confidant. Playing Dark Confidant values going after your opponent's life total more, also values you getting cards into your own hand, but really the cards on the other side of the table more dangerous. And this looks like a pretty significant punish. So we're going to see Matt's got enough cards. He's just going to plow forward. Despite having a Chains out, he is just going to be discarding to draw. It's not a Hushbringer. And now Cunning Wish for shared summons. That one will go get Emrakul. So Matt fortunately having enough cards in hand to be able to pull that together. I mean, that is how Gristlebrand works. You do tend to have extra cards. Very often you're discarding them during the end step anyways. But Chains of Mephistopheles not really seen very often. And while it's a card that certainly makes sense in mono black aggro, I think a lot of people would probably underestimate this type of build just because it feels like a budget deck. Like mono black aggro, if you hear someone's playing mono black aggro in Legacy, it probably feels to you like, oh, they're just kind of playing what they have the cards to play. But then you start seeing a card like Chains of Mephistopheles. I mean, Opposition Agent I don't think is very expensive now. Hushbringers, or Hull Breacher, sorry. I think I may have been saying that card wrong. Maybe all day. I've been doing commentary for a bit. Hull Breacher is certainly getting more attention in the limelight right now as it stops the card drawing versus the tutoring. Chrome Mox, and what do we have? A Dark Confidant, leaving 2 cards in hand. Chrome Mox into Dark Confidant was kind of a defining line back when Counterbalance was big in Modern. Being able to just have those turn 1 either Counterbalances or Dark Confidants. I feel like there was another 2-drop that was just absolutely phenomenal. Now we've got a Rotting Regisaur as well, so this is a clock. But Show and Tell, I mean, tough to get faster than that. Omniscience, we've got Revoker and Cunning Wish, and that is how you draw it up. Cunning Wish is going to grab the shared summons. Both Gristlebrand and Emrakul are going to come down and close that one out. And Caleb's luck versus combo decks ends there. But a really interesting build. I enjoy seeing this on camera. Hopefully Caleb makes it to these top tables some more. I think it's a really interesting strategy. And I'd like to see some of the other cards that are in there. Actually, the list should be on MTG Top 8. So anybody interested in the list, go ahead and check that out. All of our events have been getting posted to MTG Top 8. You can find them with the ELD's Time Vault Games search query. Probably the easiest way. That is all for this one, but don't worry, there is a lot more. You can check out our older videos, and we're always putting out new videos from ELD's Time Vault Games in Bellingham, Massachusetts. If you want to help the channel, of course, you can like, subscribe, share, tap that notification bell so you can know the next time our new videos come out. Thanks for watching.